When it comes to starting out and building your own online business, there are a lot of mistakes that you're probably going to make, or maybe you've already made. The truth is that's unavoidable because there's a lot of bad advice out there and because you're learning something new. It's inevitable that you're going to make mistakes as you learn this new skill and process. I will share with you, though, the 3 of the top mistakes that I see over and over with my own students and that I made myself back when I was starting my first online business while still in my 9-to-5. And these cost me so much time and potential sales. And hopefully what I'm going to share with you is going to help you avoid some of those as well. So the top 3 mistakes are: number 1, and before I go into number 1, actually, let me share that really all of these mistakes come down to a single thing, which is that I was looking for a shortcut. I was looking for an easier way. I was looking to do it in a way that was faster, better, smarter, lazier, however you want to describe it. And while there's nothing wrong with that, there's nothing wrong with optimization, with improving, with finding the best way to do something. Where I was coming from at the time that I made these mistakes was not from that mindset. It was how can I skip all the hard work? What corners can I cut to get to the results? And at the time, I didn't realize that these are the very things I needed to do to actually get clients and to build my business. So I really want to really call out that mentality because I do see it with a lot of new entrepreneurs, especially if you're smart, you've had success in your corporate career, you're confident, and you're thinking, hey, maybe I don't need to do all of this. And I'll talk more about that in a bit, but really want to call that out first. So if you've been thinking that, let's definitely reframe that to show that, hey, this is absolutely possible. But yes, it's going to take hard work. It's going to take time. It's going to take blood, sweat, tears. But the end result is more than worth it. All right, so now we can get back to mistake number 1, which for me, as unsexy as this sounds, was that I skipped doing market research. And I see this happen over and over again with a lot of new entrepreneurs. So one of the first online businesses that I built was Microsoft Excel consulting. And the reason I did that was because I did it in my job. I was a Microsoft Excel whiz, and I knew all the shortcuts, how to really write amazing macros and code and all of that. And I saw quite a few people successfully when I Googled Microsoft Excel consultants. I saw quite a few people having really successful 6- and 7-figure Microsoft Excel businesses. And this is what I thought. I thought, I'm already good at this. Okay, there are people doing this who are successful already. I'm done with market research. And I didn't bother speaking to anyone, understanding who my audience was, what they wanted, what they cared about. I didn't even understand why those people who were successful were successful. I didn't understand their marketing, their positioning, what they were selling, who they were selling to, none of that. And that was my arrogance, and it cost me. So here's what happened. Because I did that, when I first started, I just assumed that people were interested in shortcuts. I had no basis for that, no data for that. I just assumed because I loved the fun Microsoft Excel shortcuts that must be what my audience wanted. And so I wrote this massive, massive blog post with some of the best shortcuts, little known shortcuts in Microsoft Excel. And then I went out there and I tried to pitch it to get it published on a publication to start building my credibility, drive some traffic. And not a single place wanted to accept it. They didn't want it because they knew what I didn't know because I hadn't bothered to do the market research. I didn't understand that wasn't what my audience cared about. And so because of that, there was a massive disconnect where I was writing this content that I thought was cool and nobody else thought it was. And so you can imagine that did not go very well. And after that, in my next online business venture, when I moved into career coaching, you can bet I learned from that mistake. So I'll make all the mistakes, but as long as I learn from them, I'll be okay. And so what I did was I reached out to people I knew who had asked me about market research, who had asked me about career advice. Hey, how did you get this promotion? Or how can I switch industries? How can I get a 6-figure salary? Things like that. And I asked them, hey, what is it that you really want when it comes to career goals, career coaching? What is it that's really holding you back? What do you feel your top challenges are? What do you feel like you don't know? And through doing that, that's how I really got to understand for myself that, okay, this is what my people cared about, this is what they wanted, this is what they would be willing to pay for, all those things like that. And here's the thing, no matter how established your current industry is, you cannot get that information from reading their website or from reading some reviews or customer testimonials. That is something that you only deeply understand once you pick up the phone and talk to someone. And if you skip that step, guess what? All of your other steps are going to be set up for failure. Because when it comes to going out there and marketing yourself, you're not going to know what to say that your audience actually cares about. You're not going to know where to find your audience, because through doing the market research, you also have to find where your people are hanging out, online, offline, wherever. And you're not going to know what it is that you're actually selling that people want. All of those things with the example that I just shared with you, because I was trying to take a shortcut, because I thought it would be easier to move right into creating content sitting behind my computer than talking to people. And what I didn't realize was, doing that, guess what? You're going to have to talk to people when you're trying to get clients as well. You're going to have to find them online. And doing the market research, like I just said, primes you to do that. It teaches you what to say to people, where to find your people. And so if you're skipping that, then you're basically trying to skip it's like trying to build a house without the foundation. And so I cannot emphasize this enough. Mistake number one, trying to skip that market research because maybe you think, I don't need to do this. The industry I want to be a part of is already established, so I'll just see what's there and go off of that. Or I'm my own client. I thought both of those things. But those are two of the top mistakes that you can make. And so do not skip that first step. So number one, just not understanding your audience. And this is why I'll have so many students, new students come to me in my programs and say, I've been posting content, I've been doing everything you're supposed to be doing, and I'm not getting any clients. And we'll take a look at their content, and guess what? I would say maybe 8 or 9 times out of 10, it comes down to, well, yeah, it's because you don't know your audience. You don't know what they really want. And so what you're saying is what you think they want, but it's not what they really want. And so there's that disconnect. You could be shouting that from the rooftops all day long and people wouldn't care because it's not what they care about. So I think enough said there. Mistake number one, do not skip your market research. Mistake number two, again, I was looking for a shortcut. When it comes to getting your first paying client, a lot of new entrepreneurs are thinking, maybe if I just put up a website, maybe if I just go into a Facebook group or an Instagram account or wherever and just post about how amazing my offer is, I'm going to get people who want to buy from me. There might come a time and a point when you're able to do that, when you're more established, when you've got more brand recognition, when you can do that with your own community, absolutely. But when you're starting out, no matter how good it is that you are at what you do, that you're going to help someone with because of your job or life experience, that has not translated online yet. I'll share, for example, when I first started out doing digital advertising consulting, that's what I was doing in my job at the time. I had a great 6-figure job. I was managing a team. My team managed millions of dollars in revenue. So you can say I was pretty darn good at what I was doing. However, there was no proof of that online. Because think about it, when you're working in corporate, it's not like every win that you have, every project or presentation that you lead or create, or every result you help a client get, that you go out there and post online. You don't. And so nobody knew, aside from, looking at my LinkedIn, you could see that, but there weren't the details there. Nobody knew, hey, oh yeah, this person Luisa has worked with this many people. She is this established at this and that, and she can help me. Nobody knew that. So I had no audience, no brand recognition online. So my offline experience had not translated. However, Again, remember, I was in the shortcut mentality. I was thinking, I want to leave my job as soon as possible. Whatever I can cut to build my business faster, I'm going to do. And so I was arrogant. And I thought to myself, look, I'm so established in my career, or I'm established enough that I should be able to just go out there, charge exactly on an hourly basis what I'm charging in my, or I'm getting paid in my salary. And I should be able to get clients no problem. So what I did was to get my first client, right? Thankfully, I wasn't being arrogant when I got my first client. I went online, I did the market research that we just talked about a second ago, and I asked someone who was asking questions that I could answer. I said, hey, would you be willing to give me some of your time, just a few minutes, to answer some market research questions? In return, I will answer your advertising questions, because this is what I do in my job. And so what happened was she answered my questions, and then she just got so much value out of that she asked me follow-up questions for about 2 weeks. And at that time, because I wasn't looking to sell anything, I was just like, oh, whoa, someone really finds my advice valuable. I continued answering her questions. And because I'd given her so much value, she could tell from my answers that I knew what I was talking about. After about 2 weeks, she said to me, hey, you've given me so much value for free. I know I'm going to get so much more if I hire you. Can you please let me know how I can work with you? And at that time, actually, I had no idea what it was I was going to sell. So I actually had to say to her, please hold on for a week. Let me figure out what would be fair to both of us. And she said, okay. And then a week later, we got on that call. And because she had seen the value I'd already provided, she said, okay, yes, no brainer. So I assumed, okay, that meant I was on the right path and I had made it. It should be easy to get clients from there. And so I stopped giving value, I stopped engaging, I stopped answering questions, and I just put posts, hey, if you want to work with me, here's a link to schedule a call. And you can imagine how that turned out, probably, if you've experienced this yourself especially. I would get on calls with people, they weren't the right fit, right? They didn't really know me because they hadn't had that same interaction with me that my first client had had. And they hadn't built that trust in me, that relationship. And so when I shared my price, which again was the salary that I was being paid, they said, this is way too expensive. And they had all these reasons, which made sense. Some people said, I don't know you, I don't trust you enough, I can't find any evidence of you or your credibility online except your LinkedIn. And so I would say about 30 no's in a row before I thought, okay, something is off, obviously. I need to fix this. And so I took a step back and I went back to doing what I had done originally to get my first client. Even though at the time I was thinking, this is not going to scale. How am I going to be able to do this with every single client I get and be able to do it to a place where I'm going to be able to leave my job? I knew I wouldn't be able to. But I also knew that what you do in the beginning of your business isn't what you do in the stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, so on. That's what I realized. And so that if you see someone who is more established, who has their marketing, their credibility, all of that dialed in so that they can just write a post, write an email, and make a sale, that's because they work their way up to that. I saw that and I thought, okay, I'm there, and I wasn't. And so it goes back to making sure that in the beginning, you're not looking straight to, okay, make a sale. Of course, you want to work with people and make sales. That's not what I'm saying. But what you want to do is be thinking about what you need to do to earn that sale first. I mean, you always have to be earning the sale every stage of your business, but it takes a little bit more when you're starting out, because this is the key thing. No matter how successful or established you are in your job, that's great. And you're going to be able to translate that knowledge online when you're helping people. People can't see that history, that experience when you're first starting out online. And so you have to kind of rebuild it. It's going to be faster for you because you already have the experience, but you have to re-earn that. And that's something that I see a lot of my students who are successful in their careers struggling with, to kind of starting from ground zero and having to re-earn that credibility and those credentials. So that's mistake number 2. The third mistake that we're going to cover today is, again, another mistake that I also made. And it's the mistake of trying to just assume that buying traffic is gonna get you the results that you want faster. Now, here's the thing. And I'm talking specifically about advertising, specifically maybe Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads. So what I see all the time is advertising being portrayed as this holy grail, this, oh my gosh, this, not holy grail, this like silver bullet, where you just spend on traffic and your business is just gonna take off. Here's the thing. Yes, in many ways, buying traffic gets you to build your audience a lot faster than a lot of the more other methods, whether it's guest posting, joint ventures, blogging, things like that. However, it's not just like you put money in and you get money out. It takes a lot to get your business, your marketing campaigns, your sales process to that point where you're able to do that. You've got to deeply understand who your audience is, how to find them when you're setting up your targeting for your ads campaigns, what to say in your marketing campaign, what it is that you're selling, how to position your offer, how to write your sales emails and your sales content, all of that. Your product itself, the testimonials, the proof you're going to need to build up for someone who's just finding you from a paid ad to trust you enough to buy your program or product or offer, whatever that is. And so, thankfully, my background was in digital advertising, so I had a bit more knowledge of this than many new entrepreneurs. And I was able to figure it out relatively quickly. But what I see all the time is people who come to me and say, hey, I created this course or this program or this coaching offer, and I've spent $1,000, $2,000 or more in ads, and I haven't made a single sale. And here's what it comes down to, the different pieces I break it down into. First, who is it that you are targeting? Are you first targeting the right audience? So if you are this is a bit of a silly example, but if you are looking to help people get new jobs, right? You're a career coach, and somehow your ads end up targeting audiences of people who are looking for a promotion or a raise in their current job. There's going to be a disconnect. And so you have to understand that you're targeting the right audience, and that includes the audiences that you've set to show your ads to. That includes the language that you're including in your ad copy, the copywriting, the text that you're using. What you're using to bring them in, if there's the right pain, the right hook, versus something that is so boring it doesn't stand out or capture their attention. Is the way you're sharing your offer valuable? Or is it, hey, here's this great program that's going to help you do this. You get this many modules or this many calls and this much email support, things like that, versus this is a program that's going to help you get that new job, even though you might think you're not qualified enough. You've been in your industry for too long, or you think that there's too much competition, or you can't find the right job. Really understanding what it is that your audience wants and needs to hear to be ready to buy from you. And having that, hey, if you think this might not work for you, here's why it will. Of course, it has to be true, but here's why it will, because this person didn't think so either, and here's what happened. Having those testimonials as well to be able to share and show, hey, this is a legitimate product that helps you get the results that you want, and then you can move them into the sales process. But as you can see, there are lots of moving pieces, so that if you buy the wrong traffic, you are literally just throwing your money down the drain. And so I see so many people, I've seen in my own student communities where students will say, hey, I couldn't find any potential clients for market research or for marketing online. So I'm about to go run some ads. I see this happen over and over again. I will tell you, that's one of the worst things you can do, because if you can't find your people for free online, you don't know where they are, what makes you think you're going to be able to find them with paid traffic, right? Especially when there's more on the line. It's your money, your hard-earned money on the line. And so this is what I usually say. We never start my students off with paid traffic. Yes, we get to that. But I think of it more as an accelerator. You first want to do the things that we were talking about in the other steps in this video, through the other mistakes. You want to find your audience where they are online. You want to speak to them. You want to understand what they want, what they care about, what's holding them back. Once you can get that dialed in for free through your free content, through social media, other free channels that you don't have to pay for, once you have that dialed in, then you can say, okay, I know this works. I know who my audience is. I know what to say. I know what to sell. I know all of that. Then you just move that into the paid advertising framework so that you just apply all those variables. And that's how you're able to succeed, essentially. And so that's the third and final shortcut or mistake that so many new entrepreneurs make. And as we said, this all comes down to looking for those shortcuts. And the truth is, look, there's a right way and a wrong way. There's a slightly easier way. There's a way that is more efficient, more optimized. And I share that with you as I did in this video. I shared it in all of my videos and all of my courses and trainings. However, there are no shortcuts. There's no skipping over the foundational things that you need to do to understand your audience and to build a business that actually gets you clients, makes sales, and stands the test of time. And these are, again, the three most common mistakes that I see that hopefully now that you know, you can go out there and avoid, because you know what not to do, what not to skip, and what to do instead to get the best results for you and your business. So hopefully you found that helpful. If so, I've got another really great video for you on, now that you know what to do to really get started and succeed, the key to pricing your packages so that they sell like hotcakes. So make sure you check out that video because you're going to get some awesome ahas from that. And I do have a great PDF for you as well, because once you implement these things, you're going to be ready to get your first or next paying client. So I've got an awesome proven 20-second script to help you get your first paying client. So make sure you check out that URL as well and sign up to get that PDF, to make sure you get that script so that you're ready to get that first or next paying client. That's it for today. Hopefully you found this helpful. Thank you for watching. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you found most helpful. And make sure that you subscribe for weekly videos from me on how to build your own online coaching, consulting, and/or course business.